Hello everyone, I know I'm a little bit late with the Taho nerfs, but I wanted to give out my opinion because the patch actually didn't even happen yet. We're gonna see it next week on Wednesday if you're in Europe, and that patch will minimum, the absolute minimum, will change Taho. Will we see other nerfs? We'll see. But let's jump into the Taho changes and let's talk about it because it's a very, very peculiar situation. So what happened to Taho, or what will happen to Taho, is he is going to spawn with one rocket, can purchase also the second rocket for 150 credits, map range reduced from 55 to 45 meters, very big difference by the way, 10 meters in diameter is a huge difference, absolutely humongous difference. Rocket's cooldown has been removed. So essentially, not only you're not going to be able to use your rockets every 40 seconds, you also have less of them, right? It's an incredibly huge change to rockets. It's a absolute biggest nerfs, one of the biggest nerfs I have seen in the game so far. I can't even think of a bigger nerf than this so far in the game. Then the drone price got increased price from 300 to 400. Okay, like why not just nerf the duration of the drone, which is incredibly big? I don't know. And then the stun got buffed from 300 credits to 200 credits, and the ult got nerfed from 8 to 9 orbs. So essentially, when you think about this, Taho got nerfed in 3 aspects and buffed in 1 aspect, but the buff doesn't really do anything because the rockets got nerfed by 150 credits, so essentially you still have more expensive kit overall, right? So essentially every single aspect of the game for Taho got nerfed. Is it good that he got nerfed? Fantastic. Lovely. I was calling for a nerf for this character on day 1 of early access. I needed 15 minutes in a custom map to already know that this character is broken, overpowered. And by the way, I know that people will maybe call that I'm lying or something, but it was on stream. Many times I said it on day 1 before he hit live service that he's overpowered, and I was being told by many people that I'm an idiot because I didn't even try him in game and I'm already calling for nerfs. Point proven. My record when it comes to understanding power levels of characters without even seeing them in game is like 100%. Since beta, not alpha, but since beta, I'm really on point with that. So I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be on point with my judgment about the Taho nerfs as well. He is dead. He is not going to be used in any way. There's not going to be a single professional team that should be using him at a professional level. Unless, because those changes will be happening in Toronto, a team will play a map that they didn't have time to build a playbook without Taho, and they will still have to use Taho. That's the only one that can happen. But if you will have time to build a new playbook and not play Taho, teams will not play Taho. The reason for that is that the character now, who was being known for flexibility, loses the entire flexibility. There's just not much you can do right now. One rocket doesn't give you much. There's a small upside because you will be able to, like, think about it this way. You can put one missile in point A and then wait 10 seconds and put the second missile. So in theory, in post-plant situations, you're able to get more out of your rockets than with just one charge before, but with the 2 missiles at the same time, right? So you're going to be able to like get a little bit more power in post-plant, but you should never have the rockets ever with you in post-plant because of the change, because you're not getting them back. You have to, like, and if you don't use the rockets pre-planned, that means that you essentially didn't play with your character, because the entirety of power that comes from many characters, but specifically from initiators, is the signature ability. Sova's arrow, breach, stun, Taho's missiles. Sky, another dead initiator, doesn't have a recalled a cooldown on its signature ability. Fade has an eye, and so on, right? You can see a pattern here. Sky is not being played because not only she doesn't have a signature ability on a cooldown, but she also have one of their skills being absolutely useless because it's a reactive heal, not a proactive ability. Initiators needs proactive abilities. All of the 4 utility pieces from Taho are proactive abilities. And because of that, he was so flexible and able to do so many things. Missiles were great at zoning. Missiles were great at destroying utility. Missiles were great at post plant. Missiles were great at also enabling, like destroying like doors on Lotus, destroying doors on Abyss, and so on. So you had many applications to Taho's missiles, and now you'll essentially have still the same applications, but you will lose the flexibility because you can do only one of them. So it's understandable that he was nerfed, but to this degree, it's killing a character, and I don't like that. I don't think a singular team will play him, because why on earth would you play him over a Sova or over a Fade? You lack the flexibility, you lack the recon, because you don't have enough slots in the composition to play multiple initiators unless they work in a synergy, right? So we had like the Breach and the Taho meta alongside Yoru, because Yoru works so well with Breach, and then Taho and Breach work well together. We had like a triangle of synergy, and that's Yoru, Breach, and Taho. Now Taho is getting removed. We're still gonna see Breach being played, but instead of Taho, we're gonna see most likely a Sova, or ideally a Fade, because Fade has synergy with Yoru. So that triangle, that power triangle, is gonna be Fade, Breach, and Yoru now within teams that have a good Yoru player, right? So essentially just removing one initiator, putting in another one, and just make a new playbook. So in general, it's a little bit upsetting, because now the character is just gonna have 0 pick rate, and it seems like the metronome when it comes to Riot's decisions is either not good, not much, or too much. There's nothing in between. And many people like are saying like, oh, you're only complaining, like he has to be nerfed. Of course, he should be nerfed. He should have been nerfed, but I think this is too much. And now essentially you're forcing a change of metagame again, right? But at least this time there's more time before Toronto, like not like the last time when there was just Taho release and people had to start playing within a week with Taho. And by the way, for ranked, he's absolutely useless now. Like, you're not gonna see him in ranked at all. Like, there's just no way. Like, no, not a single person in the right mind will gonna play Taho when you essentially have a one and done initiator. So that's also sad, because it was nice seeing a little bit more diversity just than your typical Jet, Reyna, Clove, Instalocks, which, by the way, it's also a problem. Why aren't those characters? I mean, I know why. I'm gonna tell you. Why is Reyna and Clove not being nerfed, even though they are in every single lobby and every single ranked game, right? They have like 10% pick rate, which means that 1 out of the 10 characters is always Reyna, always Clove. But they're never being picked at pro level because they're not good enough. Taho had like a 5 to 7% pick rate in ranked because he was overpowered. Now his pick rate is gonna be most likely like Harbor, because why on earth would you pick him when he's just so nerfed to the ground? So we're gonna see again a little bit more shift towards the Jet, Reyna, Clove, because it's always working the same way. And that brings me back to what I was asking about, because if the characters, if the nerfs and buffs are only following the trends at a pro level, that creates a problem for the ranked level where most of us are playing, because the professional like tier 1 and even if you count tier 2 is like only a few hundred people. So the few hundred people that are mostly affected are not affecting the big picture of the players who are playing this game every day just for fun. And the fun right now is being removed from the game, not only by nerfing powerful characters, because people like playing powerful characters, right? But also because so many people just play like those characters that are just egocentric and they never are trying even to help team. So I would like to see more changes in the future that are balancing out the entire category of characters, and not just the ones that are being used at pro level at a higher rate. Like, and by the way, for 2 years I was saying Yoru is low-key overpowered. I was being told I'm an idiot. Now he gets multiple nerfs in a row, right? We got the nerf on the clone, we got a nerf on the ultimate, and suddenly everyone is telling me, oh yeah, yours overpowered, he should have been nerfed a long time ago. Well, none of you were saying that apart from me. But yeah, I mean, okay, sorry, I didn't say that he should be nerfed. I was just saying he was low-key overpowered and no one is using him. But again, proves my judgment when it comes to power levels. So it's sad to see the Taho nerfs. I hope that he gets another buff, because we are still having more duelists in the game than initiators, and more initiators than controllers, and more controllers than sentinels. Whenever a initiator gets nerfed to the ground like this, he becomes less, people are getting less incentivized to actually play them in ranked. So there's less and less options when it comes to what you're gonna meet in ranked, and that is just sad. So unfortunately, we're not gonna see next changes to Taho till the end of Masters, and then it's gonna be calculations, and then checking data, and then we're probably gonna have to anticipate a change to a buff to Taho, or a kind of rework, whatever, in the next 6 months, I guess. If it's a rework, if it's a small buff, then probably like 2 months minimum. But I'm not a fan of this kind of decision making. I'm okay with the nerf, but not to this degree. And I hope we're gonna see more changes in the very, very close future. There's also a chance that my opinion might be completely different if 10.09 patch, where the Taho nerfs will be live, nerfs to the ground every single character. And then I'll be like, oh, come on. But that will be like the biggest like patch since the moment when Valorant nerfed the economy, when they nerfed across the entire board. Every single flash started costing 250 instead of 150 or 200, and then every single ultimate got +1 on like the cost, because, like, for example, Brimstone was 6 orbs and it was 7, now it's 8. You guys probably don't remember that, and if you remember, say I remember in the reply in the YouTube comment. So maybe something crazy will happen in the patch 10.09, but we're gonna make a video about that as well. So what do you think about the Taho nerf? Do you think it's okay that he got killed, essentially, and that he got assassinated, or do you think it's too much as well? Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.